every day I talk to e-commerce owners who tell me, look, my in-house team creates 3 ads a week. My in-house team creates 8 ads a week. And they're simply capped. How do you guys produce thousands of ads every single month? Now, by the end of the video, I'll show you the exact math, the system, the workflow, the tools of how to create 100 ads per week in-house without hiring an army of video editors and without paying tens of thousands of dollars on agency retainers. In fact, you will be able to do this with literally just one full-time creative strategist and one full-time video editor. Now, if you don't know who I am and you need some background information, first of all, I run 99ads.com. We specialize in ad creatives. Everything we do is ads. I've built 40 plus creative teams for myself and 15 plus for clients. We created ads for over $300 million in the last 2 years alone, 2023 and 2024. We create ads for some of the biggest brands in the space. In each one of our teams create around 600 ads a month like clockwork. So let's start with the system. First of all, when I talk to e-commerce owners, every time we offer a certain amount of ads, I hear them saying, but how many of those ads are net new? And this is where agencies and e-commerce owners usually tend to clash. E-commerce owners believe that big amounts, but with a lot of variations and iterations, is a way for the agency to finesse them and simply deliver a different amount of ads because they think that variations and iterations tend to take less in terms of amount of time needed to create them. But in reality, at the end of the day, the beauty of this industry is that you cannot cheat the data. So as long as the numbers are improving, then you're good. It doesn't really matter if you are creating net new ads, if you are iterating, if you are creating variations at scale. What matters is how do I maximize my ROAS? What is the system to maximize my ROAS while keeping, obviously, ad fatigue in check? Because if you're looking at the numbers, but ad fatigue is a real problem, your numbers are going to be bad. So whether it's new ads or old ads, it's still going to be bad numbers. So while everybody in the space talks about concepts and variations alone, which is something that we do as well, but we also added 2 different categories of ads when we create ads internally. The first one is the seek ads. So the seek ads are the ads we create to open up and seek new opportunities for our client. We want to basically find new scalable opportunities with this type of ads. And then the second category is the scale ads. And these are the ads we create to squeeze and maximize the return of our winning elements. And let me tell you something, the lowest hanging fruit, most of the time when we onboard a new client, it's not the seek ads, but it's the scale ads, because I can guarantee that every ad account out there has a lot of opportunity simply sitting in the ad account. If you go in the ad account, if you dive deep into it and you look for all of those validated elements, all those winning ads that have not been squeezed and exploited the right way, this is where you probably have a lot of money sitting and waiting for you. Now, this is our framework. So we have the seek and scale. When we look at the seek ads, we want to focus on new scalable opportunities that we find either internally or externally. Internally, in the ad account, we simply connect the dots and we find new hypotheses that can lead us to new scalable opportunities. Or externally, we look at what our competitors are doing, direct competitors, indirect competitors, and we make our own hypotheses to find new scalable opportunities once again. Then for the scale ads, we have iteration and improvements. So these are 2 different types of ads, and these are 2 different ways we have at our disposal to get to squeeze and exploit the ads we have already validated, the elements we have already validated in the ad account. Now, if you're interested in the scale ads after this video, so once you finish watching this video, I would recommend you watch this one. This is an entire guide on our iteration framework. This is how to turn one winning ad creative into many. You'll find it in my YouTube channel, and as you go and do that, please do subscribe and click that like button. Now, if you implement our system correctly, you will want to focus on two key metrics. The first one is the failure rate. The second one is the impact on ad spend volume. Now, if I was to create for you 1,000 ads per month, most likely you will not be happy with it, because each one of those ads represent a test, and that test is a test. So by definition, the failure rate will be much higher compared to the scale ads. So in a way, the more ads you get, if you test all of them, you will be compromising your healthy state of the account. You want to make sure that your ROAS is positive. So the more you go on the risky side with the highest failure rate, the more likely your ROAS is going to be low at the end of the month. But at the same time, you also want to keep an eye on the impact of the ad spend volume. Because if you keep creating variations and iterations, they might be winners, but you won't be able to scale after a certain amount. In fact, we use seek ads to scale the ad spend volume. So if right now we're capped at 200 a month, 300 a month, 500 a month, you want to find new opportunities, new ads, new angles, new audiences to open up again new opportunities and scale past that stage. If you focus on scale ads, you will maintain the account stable, but it's very unlikely that you will be able to scale it past what's your current threshold. Now, with that being said, let's check out the math of creating 100 ads per week, because 100 ads a week means that every week we have 5 days to churn out 100 ads, and we have to do that week in and week out. That's a lot of deadlines, especially if you consider that you have to make some time for revisions and for quality control. Now, we talked about one creative strategist and one video editor. You can expect your full-time video editor to spend about 40 hours a week on your brand. And if they do so, let's say that for the sake of this video, we will have 20% of the ads we create to be seek ads and 80% of the ads we create to be scale ads. That's 20 seek and 80 scale. Now, why is this important? Because the amount of time necessary to create a seek ad is different compared to a scale ad. On average, a seek concept takes anywhere between 30 to 60 minutes, whereas a scale concept takes anywhere between 10 to 20 minutes. Let me give you a disclaimer, very important. Take all the numbers I'm giving you with a pinch of salt. These are numbers that come from our own company. We specialize in this, we have systems and processes, and we track everything. We recycle and reuse as much as we can. So these numbers are average numbers with everything optimized. So if your video editor right now is not keeping up with these numbers, don't go fire him or her. Just make sure that they can get here with your help once you finish this video and you show them how to get there together with you. Now, one thing that's very important when it comes to seek ads, we still want to make sure that all the concepts we create have a fair shot. And in order for the concept to do so, we need to create 3 variations. So one concept, the base, takes 30 to 60 minutes, but then the variations are going to take 10 to 20 minutes. As a very data-driven company, again, we track everything. We use HubStuff, this is our time tracking tool, to track time spent per project, and on a monthly basis, we monitor the amount of ads delivered and the time spent per ad per video editor. Now, in this table here, you have the monthly average for the last 12 months. And as you can see here, on average, out of 100 ads, 15 to 25 are concepts and 75 to 85 are variations. Here you have the time per unit in minutes, which is what I told you earlier. And here you have the actual average time per unit in minutes. So on average, creating a new concept took, in the last 12 months, 35.46 minutes. To create a variation, on average, it took 13 minutes, 0.79. This means that the total time in hours is 11.82 spent on concepts and 18.39 spent on variations. Now, we want to add a bit of a buffer for our video editor to hop on calls and take care of revisions in quality assurance. Now, given all of this, so the buffer time, the concepts, and the variations, they end up spending 36.37 hours per week creating 100 concepts. Now, a few caveats that I want to make sure you understand, so again, you don't go murder your video editor. We track first month data separately. So the table above doesn't include the first month metrics, which tend to be larger because we're creating new concepts, we're creating all of the templates, we're creating all of the animation if anything's needed. So the first month is tracked aside. Number two, it's almost impossible to get to these numbers without a senior video editor. You want video editors who are DTC experienced and vetted we exclusively work with those. We hire them that they are already experienced and we train them on top. So if this is something that you're interested in, if you're looking for similar video editors, you'll find a link below. Just book a call and we staff these video editors for our clients. But I'll give you a better CTA later. Number three, the real game with this entire system is putting the video editor in a position where they can sit down and edit all day long without worrying about coming up with new angles or surfing through terabytes of content. And this is where the right tools and the right workflow become crucial. So let's start with the tools. The first thing you need is a solid media asset management, MAM. And there are many out there. What you want to take into account and what you want to make sure happens is that your team can leave comments and feedback based on specific frames. You want an MAM platform that's easy to navigate, and you want comments to be very simple to leave, and if there's a chat and if there's a back and forth, you want it to be easy and feasible within the platform. Now, the platform we use in order to do that is iconic.ai. Another one you can check out is frame.ai. I'm not paid to promote any of these platforms, so just check them out. We like Iconic. You might like Frame. I don't know, but both of them are very good and they both do exactly what I told you. Then the second thing you need is a rock solid way for the creative strategists to brief the ads. And there are many options here. You don't really need a specific tool, but you want your team to have a clear structure for the briefs. You want to make sure that both the video editor and the creative strategist can save as much time as possible. This is the most important part. And again, you want to get in a place where your video editor every day, all day long, sits down and edits. And the only way to do it is to find a rock solid way to create elite briefs. And you're lucky because I'm about to share with you how we do it. So if you want me to get into details and give you a more detailed breakdown of how we create briefs, please let me know in the comment section. So we push the algorithm and I'll shoot a video just on that. In a nutshell, the tool we use for the briefs is Milanote. You could literally do it on a Google Doc, but we like Milanote simply because it makes it very easy to create ads by moving blocks around. So it makes the scale ads, for example, very simple. And it's also, I really like it because it's visual and it allows you to come up with new hypotheses simply by looking at the platform. Now, regarding the briefs, this is how we typically create briefs. First of all, on the left, we have the instructions. Now, one thing that's very important is obviously for your creative strategist to tell the video editor the format and the size they want the ads to be created on. And then you want to have some sort of rules or instructions, just call them as you prefer. But the way we brief our content is we have different colors for different types of text. In red, the video editor will find the instructions. So what the creative strategists want them to do. Instead, all the text in black is what's inside the script and it's the text that goes on the video. So this is what they call super. This is what basically is the overlay text on the video. Then the text in green will need a voiceover, and the text in blue will be the link to the assets that the creative strategist wants the video editor to use. Now, we also have instructions on the naming convention, and we have an entire section on the assets. So if anything's needed, they will find it there. Now, on a concept per concept basis, they will find the entire script, which starts with product, angle, and concept type so that the video editor can understand what they are promoting and what is the end goal of what they're promoting. And then it starts with the hook, the ad body, and the CTA, again, based on the general instructions we mentioned earlier. To the right, you also get the variations. So as I told you before, the first one is what takes the longest time, but then the variations usually take a bit shorter. In this case, these are just hook variations, but again, I would highly recommend you watch this video because I show you exactly how we create iterations. Now, with that being said, in terms of communication, we use the standard stack, which is composed of Slack, Zoom, and Loom. Now, the next point that's probably one of the most important, if you ask me, is the workflow. And once again, the role of the creative strategist is putting the video editor in optimal conditions to edit and forget about everything else. And in a utopian world, if the creative strategist does their job correctly, the video editor wakes up and edits 5 days a week. The workflow consists of weekly sprints that include the creative strategist, the video editor, and the media buyer, at least at the beginning of the week. These are emojis. These represent, I'm guessing, the media buyer, the creative strategist, and the video editor. There's not really a reason why I picked these emojis, but I wanted to make the presentation a little more colorful. Now, this might differ, obviously, based on the store size, based on how much money you're spending, but you want to keep this circle tight because you want to make sure that everything is optimized and nobody's wasting their time. Now, these are the most important roles. So every day, the video editor wakes up and edits. On Monday, or whatever day you prefer, but let's say it's Monday, creative strategist and video editor hop on a call and analyze the data from the previous week. Both the creative strategist and the media buyer are in charge of analyzing the numbers and making their own hypotheses and decisions. They speak the same language and they can contribute to both numbers and creativity. Now, after the call, the creative strategist works on the brief and once ready, present it to the video editor on a call, which usually happens on Wednesday. So the creative strategist has 2 days to work on the briefs. And this is where the video editor gets to ask all the questions and discuss the brief. If everything is clear, they just start working and they go back and forth until the delivery. If anything's needed, that you can just drop a message on Slack or you can hop on a Zoom call. And by the way, once there's enough trust and complicity between the creative strategist and the video editor, you can replace some of the calls with Loom videos, which tends to work very well, if you ask me. One more thing that we do internally is we use ClickUp, which is a task management tool. We do it because we have a big team, but I do not recommend our ecom clients we help build their own in-house team to download theirs, simply because I'm not the biggest fan and tends to be overkill if you don't have the biggest team as an agency, which is kind of a people-centered type of business. Now, one more important thing is that it's okay to do the Loom videos, as I told you, between the creative strategist and the video editors, but you don't want that to happen all the time, simply because they would get too distant and they would lose that complicity and trust that they have. But even if you go from weekly calls to bi-weekly calls, that tends to be a good decision and can be very nice in terms of flexibility, if you're optimizing for flexibility. Now, on a final note, I want to emphasize how important it is to make sure that the video editor time is spent exclusively on editing for 95% of the time if possible. And in order to do so, there are a few things that are absolutely crucial. The first thing is you want to keep your content tidy and well organized. You want to look at your content library as it was a stock footage library. You want everything to be tagged, and you want to make sure that your team doesn't spend too much time searching for certain scenes. I cannot tell you how frustrating that was when it used to happen at our company. Finally, we fixed it, but please take your time to do it. Once everything is organized, scrolling through the content library becomes a great source of inspiration for the creative strategist and the video editors as well. Now, we have a content manager as part of our team that gets on the library and just tags everything and makes sure that everything is tidy and organized. And I would recommend investing on an assistant that can do that as well. It's kind of a low skill type of task, so it should not be too complicated to find somebody who's able to do it. Then number two, Adobe Cloud and recycling. This is incredibly important, and it's ludicrous how much time the junior video editors and the average teams spend creating the same thing multiple times. It's not even funny, and it happened with us as well quite often. Just make sure you recycle as much as you can, and you use Adobe Cloud to save the projects and reuse the same projects again and again. Then finally, the better the brief, the higher the output. There's no way around that. Include references for all the ads you brief, both for seek and scale, so you can avoid back and forth later. This is more for the creative strategist. Provide the content you want the video editor to use and follow general instructions. This is incredibly important. Now, if you get to implement everything that I talked about in this video, creating 100 Facebook ads per week will be a walk in the park. One thing that I didn't mention is that when I talk about 100 ads a week, now we talked about video ads, which is incredibly doable. But most of the time, 20% of those ads are static ads. And every part-time graphic designer can create 20 ads like a walk in the park again, like super, super easily. So I would recommend you implement everything I talked about, rewatch this video, share it with your video editor and your graphic and your creative strategist to make sure that they understand the principles of how to create 100 ads per week in-house with for your e-commerce brand. Now, before we wrap up, I have some goods for you. The first one is, this is just happened, our school community and the entire course became free. So you can get access to it for free. You can see and learn how to create winning ads in-house, again, for free. It's a 20-hour course. Just click here and get access to it. It's a no-brainer. Number two, if you want to learn how to build your own in-house team for free, go here. You'll find all the links in the description. If you want my team and I to recruit or staff vetted video editors, graphic designers, or creative strategists for your own team. So we find them, we train them, we onboard them, we ramp them up for you. This is the link. Just go here and book a call, creativestrategists.com. Finally, if you want my team and I to create winning ads for you, here's the link. You'll find it in the description. And I hope you enjoyed this video. This was a bunch of CTAs, but hopefully you'll make the most of them. So if you have any questions, just let me know in the comment section. I'll be publishing more and more videos, hopefully. And I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.